are back again, once again. It is the Can We Rewatch podcast, another episode. We are rewatching a brand new, well, not a brand new movie. It's an oldie but goodie, but we're rewatching another movie here in our second episode. I'm your guy, Media Marcus, here with my girl, Tealy. Tealy, we're back once again.
Yes, we're back. I'm so excited for this week's movie.
Yes, and this week's movie is a 2000 comedy, and that name of that comedy is Bring It On. We are rewatching Bring It On, the cheer movie starring Kristen Dunst, Gabrielle Union, amongst others. Let me see the rest of this cast, actually.
Black, the girl group.
Yes,
Black.
the Black. Yes, so starring Kristen Dunst, Gabrielle Union, the girl group Black, including Shamari DeVoe, Brandy Williams, and others. This so all right, so let's let me give you a synopsis of this movie. This movie is AI overview here, but Torrance Shipman, which is Kristen Dunst's character, the newly elected captain of the champion Rancho Carne Toros cheerleading squad, she discovers that her predecessor stole their award-winning routines from an inner-city rival, the East Compton Clovers, led by Gabrielle Union. So that is this movie as we're getting into it. Bring It On, 2000 comedy. And when I first sent you this movie, what was your initial thoughts?
I remember like watching this movie with my sister. Like I remember the first thing that came to mind was Gabrielle Union. This is like one of the defining movies of her career. I don't care. And we'll get into more of the surprising things that I noticed later on about the movie. But yes, first thing that comes to mind, watching it with my sister, Gabrielle Union, and yeah, those are the two things.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought this is a movie we should rewatch. Obviously, it's super popular, like, across a lot of regions. Like, if you're Black, white, Hispanic, like, everybody, like, you can kind of get a little bit of representation in this movie. But no, so that was my first initial thought, and just the fact that I know this movie so well, yet I was, a 8-year-old boy when this came out, and I was not into cheerleading at all. So, but it was that popular of a film where you had to watch it, you had to see it, you had to know what the movie Bring It On. And as I got into high school, I remember being a lot of girls like really loving this movie, like standing this movie. So, definitely thought it was a great one to touch on, as it is celebrating 26 years. Bring It On came out on August 25th, 2000. So they're celebrating 26 years. And shout out to the fact it wasn't that long either. I wanted to point that out.
Yeah. I'm here for the 90, 100-minute movies. I'm here for all that.
Absolutely. And this movie, it says it ran 99 minutes. My type of movie. Good Lord.
My type of movie.
Shout out to everybody involved there. All right, let's get into the actual film, though. So we got, like we said, we got Torrance Shipman. Torrance, weird name. I just brought that up to you. I didn't really love that name.
I like the name. I think it went with the theme. She's Torrance. She's head cheerleader of the Toros. Like, it went well.
Yeah, it went well with their thieving asses, so we'll get into it. But the first thing that I really thought, just watching this, playing it back, was like, oh, classic high school movie, right? High school movies have such a big, area as far as like any movies like comedies, horror, dramas, all of those things, television shows. Coming of age, like the coming, yeah. So, just what do you think? Is this one of the top like high school movies? If you have to rank them, like, is it on a Mount Rushmore of high school movies? Bring It On.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those coming of age movies. It touches on so many different subjects. I meant to look up, is this rated PG-13?
This was, yes, rated PG-13.
That is so funny because some of the topics in this is just like, ooh, that's flying a little close to the sun there.
Yeah.
But I guess, teenagers. Yeah, I think they were all teen topics, and I think that the dialogue in the movies, like whoever wrote the dialogue, it like was like teens actually how they actually speak.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely accurate And this movie, I don't know if I would have it on my Mount Rushmore of high school movies. I have to really like think about it and give it some thought. We'll obviously touch on more high school movies as we do the series, so we can
Mhm.
obviously keep bringing it up. But I will tell you one thing: if Lean on Me ain't on there,
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
know. I don't know about the Mount Rushmore. Is it really a Mount Rushmore if Joe
I
Clark and Lean on Me isn't on
I
there?
think Bring It On is so universally liked. That's what sets it apart from me. You got the black girls, you got the Latina girls, you got the
Hmm.
white girls, you got a common
Asian as well. Yeah,
denominator,
yeah.
which is cheerleading, which is you stole my stuff. Now I gotta jack you up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this movie starts off with a funny scene, right? Kristen Dunst's character, Torrance, she, eventually goes like topless or whatever by
Mhm,
mistake, but we figure out that's a dream. And she's
mhm.
having this dream because there's a big vote today, in the current time where she wants to become captain. Is the first day of her senior year in high school. There's a big vote for the cheerleaders. Who's going to become the next captain? And what did you think about this sort of plot as we're going into the film?
Yeah, I thought it was a great start to the movie. It was like, oh, like where they kind of threw us in, and I loved how they introduced us to the characters in the dream. Everybody said their name. You kind of got an idea of like where they fell within the hierarchy of the like cheer squad, and then immediately we get swept into the first day of school, which I think it's great place to start is the first day of school on the high school teen drama. Like, who cannot resonate with the first day of school? Like, come
Yeah.
on. Um, and yeah, they have this big vote. We meet Big Red, and we kind of
Yes.
we kind of get an idea of what she's like because in the opening cheer, like this is like very popular. Like line is like, and I'm Big Red. Like she like states her place. She's Big Red. They wear red like cheer uniforms, and you're just like, okay, she's clearly the before her time, the Regina George of this setting. She's the mean girl.
Yeah. Absolutely. Big Red has an aura. Like, if you ask me, can you name one character, before I rewatch this, can you name one character, like the actual character's name in the 2000 film Bring It On? I would say
Mhm.
Big Red. Like, she had such an aura, and just watching this, it felt like she had watching, back then, it felt like she had a bigger role in the movie, but she actually wasn't around for that long. She had like some kind of key scenes, Big
Mhm.
Red had did, and then she had like sort of this story about her and sort of the things that she did prior to her actually moving on from being captain. But yes, Big Red had an aura. You got everybody introduced in that first couple of scenes, and the vote actually goes Torrance's way. She's becomes the new head cheerleader, the new captain of this
Mhm.
squad, who's won I think 5 in a row national championships.
Yeah, 5 championships in a row. So they've been champions before Torrance even got on the team.
Yeah, yeah. So there's something that they're going into feeling good about their new captain,
Mhm.
and but a part of that is once Big Red moves on and gives her title to Torrance, they have a cheer, and one of their cheerleaders gets hurt, which is a pretty funny scene. But I think that was a very key moment in the movie. Because this is a very good cheerleading squad, and they need another cheerleader. So what do they do at this point? They have to have tryouts, and we eventually meet Missy.
Yeah, we meet Missy. Missy comes in like she also has aura. You kind of get a vibe of what she's like, and she's just like clearly. This is what I didn't appreciate. They didn't. She has a stunt double. It's quite obvious, like now that we're looking back at it. But she comes in. She's like they already hating on her before she even walking on the door, which is very teen girl like. It's like you don't even know this girl. She walks in, they give her this like super difficult task to have like that they give no one else, and she meets the moment. She's like, I'm a hardcore gymnast. Like y'all are just cheerleaders. This is my only option. I'm from LA. Like what are y'all even doing out here? I need something to do. And yeah, she's just basically like shows them up, and Torrance is just like, we are the best, we need the best, she's the best, she needs to be on this team. And I like that because that's kind of where you see how the leadership qualities that Torrance has. And yeah, and we get a feel for that early.
Absolutely. I mean, you like you said, Missy comes from a gymnast background. And can I just say, that because when I think about Missy moving from LA to wherever they are, I guess Orange County sort of
San
area, whatever.
Diego.
They're in San Diego rather now. So I just feel like they are all rich as hell. They're all rich as hell. Like they got buku bread as they're in these different places, or they're in San Diego. But I think the Missy's family got a really good bang for their buck moving from LA to San Diego. So kudos to them. But no, I mean Missy is definitely comes from that gymnast background and can do all of the things. The cheerleaders were giving her ridiculous things to do, and she was just knocking them all down. But I think that Torrance did show great leadership because she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, we need this person on our team," and
Yeah.
eventually she does recruit Missy, and she comes in. But and here's where we get to like sort of the rising action and getting into the conflict of the movie. But um, Missy has some information about the squad that no one seems to know, just living out here in San Diego, sort of in the boondocks of California. And that is that you guys been stealing your cheers. How did you react to that back then, and how do you react to it now?
It was very interesting because she doesn't immediately let them know, like, oh, y'all are thieves. She just steps off. She's like, yeah, this is no good. And then when, then when Torrance meets her at the car, she's just like, get out, like, let's fight. It's like, girl, like,
Right.
be for real. You don't want to fight. And Missy, because she has such a commanding demeanor, she is able to convince Torrance to get in the car with her, and they find their way in East Compton, where she's able to, it's one of those instances. She's like, I can show you better than I can tell you, and she shows her. And what I love so much about the scene, what I didn't realize is how short of a time that Gabrielle Union was actually on our screen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when I remember it from back in the day, I just remember it being like half the movie was the Clovers, half the movies was the Toros. It wasn't that at all. Like when I watched it recently, and Gabrielle Union comes on to the screen and she's so commanding. Like the camera angle is set downward so she looks big, and then the expression on her face, like, yeah, this is my crowd. I'm about to lead them in a chair and it's gonna be fire. And so they Bird, it's cold in here. Everybody know that cheer. They get the rocking. They got a little more sauce on it than the Toros did. And Torrance is watching this like in disbelief, like, oh my God, that's our cheer. And it's just like, no, girl, that's their cheer.
Mm-hmm.
But what'd you think when Gabrielle Union came on the screen?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of my like bigger like notes here is just that they're not sort of they steal the show. Like these you were seeing these cheerleaders, and this is where you bring in maybe like sort of the urban viewer, right? Because for me, you talk about Gabrielle Union wasn't actually on our screens much, but I'm sure she was in that trailer a lot, right? And this is how you bring in the different demographics to this movie, and
Yes.
even a guy like me who actually wants to see this movie. So just getting that initial glimpse of the Clovers in East Compton and how they was rocking, like how our gyms are rocking, it just felt like, oh, this is familiar, and this is
Yes.
the girl with the clout. This is the girl with the
Yeah.
like who runs the show, Gabrielle Union. And not only that, but her girls behind her, and from the group Black, they had a lot of presence as well, just like
Yeah.
backing her up, like real attitude, real we do this, like this is I even saw tongue ring in like one little clip. I'm like, okay, it was it was 2000, but I just like I felt like their aura was screaming through the roof. It sort of put the other girl, like the Big Reds and the Missies rather, down. Like, oh, like you guys are doing your thing out San Diego and stuff like that, but these girls are really like the culture, and obviously what you guys are stealing and biting for your own performances.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed seeing that, because you do see that it's just like, again, something we talked about in our last, movie review, two different realities. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, and you're right. It is very familiar when you see them cheering at this pep rally. You see the big, Clover dude with the hat on and all the garb and the crowd. And it's just like a gym that looks very familiar. I really did enjoy seeing it when she stepped on the screen. It was just like, like Gabrielle Union. And then you read about it and you're thinking, and when you go back through the credits, you'll see Kirsten Dunst was actually 17 in this movie. And she held her own. Like her acting was, and which is why she probably went on to do all the wonderful things, like Hidden Figures, Spider-Man. She went
Yeah.
on to be in Spider-Man was like her big thing. But our girl Gabrielle Union was 27 in this movie, and that is crazy to
Yeah.
me. It makes you really like think, and I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if Gabrielle Union was like a child star. You know what I mean? I think she like came onto the scene a little older. So to start out playing like a teenager, and like you really can't really bat it out because black women, we just, what I'm saying, we look young, all the time. But yeah, it's just like wow, 27, and it was probably like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the movies that like launched her career.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally correct. I mean, she was not a child star. She didn't go out for her first role until 1997. It was her first audition.
Mm.
So, and this movie came out 2000, so she was probably 24 at this time. She went for her first audition. No, I mean, yeah, but Gabrielle Union screams through this movie. She is the star of the movie as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And she really elevates it as well. So
Mm-hmm.
she's definitely a nomination for MVP for me,
Mm-hmm.
most valuable performer. But also, I want to really quickly touch on. I mean, this movie, $10 million budget. They said 10 to $11 million budget,
That's
and
a good budget.
that is a very good budget. When you think about it, it wasn't too crazy, right? Like they didn't do like, oh, it's a high school movie. Like you just get a school, you get like some extras for a competition or a pep rally, and that's pretty much it. But and also you got young performers who
You got
don't,
young actors,
yeah,
people
you
that
know,
really
you know,
don't have a big, a high, rate. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. And this movie made over 90 million at the box office. I
That's
mean, what a
crazy.
nice return there. So
Yeah.
shout out to that. So that movie did very well. But I mean, let's get back like kind of into the film
Mhm.
where we're dealing with the Clovers. I mean, we see them now. We see that this other team from San Diego has been stealing their chairs. And what is the lead character's name again? I'm sorry. Torrance. Torrance,
Torrance.
yes. Torrance, she has to go back to her team and say, hey, you guys, like, this is what's been going on. Big Red's been stealing chairs. And how did you react to their reaction?
I loved I love this lens because it confirms all of your suspicions when you know that people that are not of our culture are in an environment where they are subject to peer pressure and groupthink. So, groupthink being basically, I think that's the right term in psychology, where basically, like, you're in a group and the person with the loudest, most convincing voice is the one that you actually go with. And in that moment, it is another cheerleader, like the two cheerleaders that are like the contrarians. I can't remember their character names. But they're just basically like, so what? Like
Right.
we have cheers, we worked hard on them, we're gonna use them. And even though Missy and Torrance are like, guys, this is wrong, they have the, I guess, smaller, less, demanding voice, which in that environment means less influence. And so they have all decided, you know what? We are going to keep these cheers, and we are not changing our routine. It was given to us by Big Red. It's not our fault. They repurpose the blame. It's not our fault. So why should we have to suffer? Why should we have to go through the difficulty of finding another routine? And it's just so crazy because it happens like that. It happens. One person is just like, well, it's not our fault. It's not us. And, we don't have to worry about that. So what? We have a reputation to uphold. And it's just like, it's not right. And it's not right, but you don't care. It only takes one person to shut that down, but that one person has to be a true leader. And in that moment, Torrance was not a true leader.
Yeah, the. So you said she wasn't a true leader at that point.
No, no, because if she was, it wouldn't have gone past that. Now we wouldn't have had no movie.
Right.
But you do get an opportunity to see her growth later on, and that is what I appreciate, and that is the purpose. You know, that's our purpose here is to see like you can make the decision to become a better person, which they
Right.
did.
Yep, and we see she does do that. As she eventually she reaches out to her boyfriend to find like some way to. Well, first of all, did he know this? And also like to help find someone to help them get a new routine. But before we get into that, what did you think about her boyfriend, Torrance boyfriend, in this movie?
Man, come on, man. Your boy, we ain't had nothing going on. You know he was on some bullshit. Like, like, come on. But it does speak to an ideology that we all know well. It's just like you have a boyfriend or girlfriend in high school, and then he goes off to college. Like, girl, let it go. Like, you should have been let that go. Like, it ain't finna work. He in the dorms. He already kind of a little bit shady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what we doing here? So that's what I thought about him because, of course, we see in the scene that he is in fact in bed with a girl that he met in school because it's his freshman year of college. And it's like, can you really blame him?
Yeah.
Like,
I so this the character's name is Aaron, played by Richard Hillman. Yeah, I just remember actually watching this when I was younger, like him being the like comedic relief. Like I didn't think everybody
mm,
else was as funny as he was because he was just so out there, so insane, so a lot of things. And he was a cheerleader as well, but just lying through, and just I remember the parents hated him at the very beginning. They were like, "Oh, he's going to college, honey." Like just so, yeah. I thought that he was an awful character, but a very funny one though, nevertheless.
mm,
But yeah, so he does give them Torrance, his girlfriend, a player, a person to give them a new routine, and that is let me see if I got this guy's name right. I This guy's name was so insane. I was like, let me write this down and really. Sparky Pulaski, the
mm-hmm.
Spirit Fingers guy. So Aaron refers them to Sparky Pulaski, and this was also very funny to me as a kid, but maybe not as funny now. But what do you think about Sparky Pulaski and the Spirit Fingers?
Yeah, he was on some bullshit too. Like, first of all, when he came in the gym, just the way that he was acting, y'all should have known that this wasn't what y'all wanted to do. But before that, before we get into him coming into the gym, we haven't touched on the fact that in the subplot, Torrance is developing a relationship with Missy's brother.
Yes,
I cannot remember his name in this film.
it's all
Help
right.
me out.
I'll get it to you. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The subplot being that they are starting to, when you in high school, you like a boy likes you,
No,
he's paying
okay.
you attention
I've never
that
had that.
you're
I'm sorry. Cliff is his
you
name. Cliff.
Cliff. Her boyfriend, up until the moment she gives him the name of the choreographer, he wasn't really paying attention to her.
Mhm.
But this new boy who she's never met, who's new to the school, new to the area, he is like showing interest to her, and she's like trying to, kind of trying to fake like, no, I don't like this boy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, girl, come on,
Yeah.
like let's be for real. Even the sister can tell, like don't lie to yourself, don't lie to me. But yeah, and so you see them having to raise money for the choreographer. One of the girls' dad says, like, I can get my dad to get $500. We need to make 1,500, which is like, shout out to y'all hustling. They did a car wash. He comes to the car wash. And I really like that scene because it just reminds you of like high school. Like we're doing a car wash, it's early 2000s. Even the way that it is shot, kind of like a little bit like a music video inside the movie. It was just like,
Yeah.
this is cute. Um, but yes, and then the choreographer gets there. He on some BS. Y'all, you could tell he on some bullshit because of the routine. It's just like, and this is one of the most memorable lines in the movie. He's like, "These are not spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers," and it's funny. It's so funny because he does the exact same thing. It's just like there's really no difference here. Um, and it's just like, wow, this guy is crazy.
Yeah, for sure the guy's crazy. And my first thing was like, So Aaron met this guy in a cheer competition and just stayed in touch and just knows him like Sparky, whatever, dude. Aaron is insane, but yes, this guy also was insane of the Aaron ilk. I just really, but he was very funny to me. Like growing up, being younger, watching this movie, like he's so out of pocket, and no, you're right. That scene with the car wash, it was a good scene. It's like you said, like we said, high school movie, a very good like, and it probably not much money to actually make that scene as well, right? Like, so very good from that perspective. But no, this guy's a psycho. He's insane, and I think they just realized that. And it's sort of like the what is this here? I'm sorry, my handwriting is terrible, but sort of the moment where they're building their own. They agree to like, hey, we have to build our own. We have to do our own thing, come up with our own routine. We have to do it night and day, in between classes, all of those things, and that's where the movie starts to turn, and you feel like, oh, this team, the Toros, actually can do some things on their own.
Yeah, they go to the competition. They realize that this guy has been, again, like the judges saying, peddling this same routine up and down the California coast. I think he charged them 2,000. They said six other teams had the routine. This man made 8 bands. And he said he had to do it in 3 days. So he made 8 bands, 6 times 3 in like 2.5 weeks. Like the man's hustling. Okay, you really
Mm.
can't be mad at that. But yeah, they go to the competition. They realize they had the same routine. They're so embarrassed. They can't be disqualified because they won the year before, so they kind of got like a pass to go to the next year. But the Clovers are there. Um, and we didn't touch on this, but the Clovers had come to a Toros um football game and did their routine in front of like with them while they're doing it to basically be like, y'all got us messed up. Like y'all not about to be out here just doing our routine saying it's yours, which is why they had to hire the choreographer in the first place. And it was so funny because when they were still outside on the track, they took a vote. Torrance took a vote and was like, "Who thinks that we need a new routine?" And everybody, even the crowd, was like, "Yeah, y'all need to get a new routine," which was hilarious.
Yeah, that was definitely a funny part because obviously, like, and these girls are doing it better than you too. Like, so you need to come up with something unique to you guys
Yeah.
that'll make it a little better. But no, I mean, so once they go through those motions and being embarrassed, you're the last year's champions, and now you're doing this stupid routine that everybody's doing, and now the fact that hey, we're creating our own routine. Everybody, I feel like the bond is getting better. This is sort of like the good moments of the movie where everybody is sort of
Mm-hmm.
connecting and figuring out a way to get better and deliver at the upcoming nationals, which would be in Florida, and we see them do all that. But before then, we see the Clovers actually going through something as well, where they don't have the money to possibly go to nationals.
Yeah, they don't got the money, which is just like that feels like something that could happen. Like yeah, we qualified, but we can't send you there. We don't have the money, and I think it's because nationals is in Florida, which I thought was kind of weird. Like you would think a national, like they're already in California, you think a cheer national meet would be in California, but anyways, the meet is in Florida, and because Torrance comes from this wealthy upbringing. When she hears that the Clovers are not going to be able to go to nationals, she's pissed off. And her teammates like, why are you pissed off? Like, if they're not going to go and they're good, we should be happy because we don't have to compete against them. And she says something that is a very good, message in the movie. You can't be the best if you don't compete against the best, and they're the best. And so she makes it her mission to figure out how she can help their competitors get to nationals. And she asked her dad to present to her company the opportunity for them to sponsor their team. She gets the money. She goes all the way to East Compton with this check and finds them in the gym on the floor writing a letter to Pauletta, who is a representation of maybe some other uh,
We can.
maybe some other popular talk show host that you know.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I got you guys money, like you can go. And she's just like, girl, we're not taking your money. Rips up the check in her face. And I really appreciated that because it really meant that I think her name, what was Gabrielle Union's character name? I think it was like Nikki or Vicky.
It's actually,
Isis.
yeah, ISIS. Yeah.
Isis rips up the check in her face.
Hmm.
And it was very true to her character. Like, girl, don't ever play with me. Like, if we're going to get there, we're going to get there because I said we're going to get there. And that was, again, very true to her character because prior to her, ISIS becoming the Clover's like captain, she was just like, we never been to nationals, we're so good. She had the ambition, she had the vision, she was going to get them there come hell or high water, and it wasn't going to be because some girl from San Diego's daddy's company sponsored them there.
Yeah.
She wanted to keep it in the community, and I felt that.
Yeah, I felt a very similar way. The fact that she ripped up that check, another strong Gabrielle Union moment in this movie, and that's why I think she just really did a tremendous job just stealing certain scenes because she shows so much attitude in this moment. She shows so much leadership in this moment, and she actually gave Torrance some game. Like, I'm the captain here. They look for me to lead. We're not taking no like blood money. And even if we go down there and win with this check that you guys gave us, you guys are gonna feel like you're a part of this. And it's like, no, this is all us. This is all like hard work, community, all of those things. So a very great moment by Gabrielle Union once again in this movie. And I thought that this might have been my favorite scene from her because she did show that leadership and she even kicked game to Torrance in this moment. So I think this might have been my favorite Gabrielle Union scene rather than like the dancing and stuff like that. It was like she delivered with her the words here in the script, and I loved it all the way. So absolutely, we gonna get this money from Oprah. I mean Pauletta. We gonna get it that way. So I was very happy to see them do that, and then we're on our way to nationals.
Yeah, they're on their way to nationals, and nationals is just a funny. It's just a funny environment. But they're all there. You start to see, individual personalities prevail. And they worked hard. The Toros worked hard. They do their routine, their original, routine, and you can see the moves. They kind of had did like montages of like different dancing and things like that. Um, and the Clovers also did their routine, which on that day happened to be better because the Clovers walked away with the check and the first place finish. And you know what? The captains, Isis and Taurus, was like, you know what? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? You did your best. We did our best. We walked away. We were better.
Yeah, and she turned around to her team. What is it? Oh, my bad. And then she turned around to her team and she's like, yeah. So no, very good moment. Yes, that is one thing that I thought that I knew. I thought that this team finished the Clovers. I thought that they won, but I didn't necessarily remember. But I felt like looking back on it, a very good moment by the writers. Like, these girls were always better. They never got their recognition. People were stealing their stuff. That's how good they were. People were driving 120 plus miles to go see these East Clover girls and steal their stuff. So when it comes to this big moment, nationals, their first nationals, yes, they won because they're the best. So I thought it was a very fitting ending to the movie. I thought they did a great job there. Like, obviously, we're with the Toros the majority of the movie, but let's not get it twisted. Who's better? Because these the Toros were stealing their stuff. So very good ending to the movie. Shout out to the writers for that because I didn't want to see no BS there. I did not.
Yeah, and I think it's also, again, it shows the growth of Torrance because she has all this pressure of them being 5-time national champions. They go, they get second, and they are able to be satisfied with their second place finish because they know it belonged to them. Because they know how hard that they worked to come up with something original, and it meant more than getting first was something that did not belong to them. So I like that message too, to be satisfied in your own work, whether it gets you first, second, whatever, you can still be happy because you did it. You can stake claim over it, and because you competed against people that were better than you. You didn't just get it handed to you.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Very true. Very true. So, all right, that is the end of the movie for us. That is 2000 movie, bringing on comedy, high school coming of age comedy. But before we get out of here, we gotta have our awards. It is award time, and I will start with you. Or I'll start with me here for MVP, and it's clear. Gabrielle Union is the MVP of this movie. I'm hoping we get a clean sweep here, but she's the MVP of this movie. She shows so much aura. She's not on the screen that long, but when she does come, she's putting up high numbers, and she is really an entire, like I said, she wasn't that on the screen that much in this movie, but she was on the screen a lot in the trailer, and she brought a total demographic to come on and come see this movie and figure out where the friction is between these two teams. And she delivered. She delivered with her lines. She delivered with her dancing, the performances. The girls around her helped uplift her. But Gabrielle Union totally stole this movie. She is my most valuable performer for bringing on 2000 comedy. What about you? Who's your MVP?
You know, it is going to be a clean sweep. She was also my MVP because when again her time on the screen was impactful. Like we came to see her, she did not disappoint us, and her character was like she was very true to her character. And to be 27 and that be your first like major role and you knock it out the park like that, and then you go on to do, whatever she did after that, Bad Boys 2, whatever she was doing after that, like immediately okay, I'm not a teenager, actually I'm actually like finna turn 30, so can I
Yeah.
get some like more appropriate roles? I love that. But yeah, she made her time on the screen count, and my favorite scene in that movie was the moment she stepped on the screen and we could see her come on to the screen in front of the crowd, looking out to the crowd like I'm about to kill this, as she did.
As she did. So shout out to our first sweep here for most valuable performer. It is Gabrielle Union in the 2000 film Bring It On. So we love to see that. Shout out to Gabby. Next award we have is the Different Lens Award. Something that we didn't notice maybe then when we first watched it that we do notice now. And what is that? Who takes that award for you? What takes that award for you?
um I think there were a couple things that I noticed. The first thing I'm going to say is that I don't know if you noticed, but most major athletic brands were represented in this movie. In the beginning, I thought it was just Nike because I saw Nike like on Torrance's like sweatsuit, and then I saw it again on a pair of pants that somebody was wearing, and then I saw Adidas, and then I saw Puma, and I was like, okay, this is nice because back in the day, this is probably not a hot take, but back in the day, we didn't have to watch commercials while we were watching the movie. Like it was like not an advertisement in the movie. So it was nice to know that, like, okay, there were no exclusive rights here. And that's something that I think we need to bring back into movies. Like, I don't want to see a commercial while I'm watching a movie, but I didn't notice the brands. Um,
Hmm.
and then something else that I didn't realize, they did touch on certain subjects like how the male cheerleaders were getting bullied for being like cheerleaders,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were using some outdated terms. um and the scrutiny that they go through, and there was a moment in the car where the kids were talking about their sexuality, and I just thought that that was like a very like, true to form kind of like setting, like how kids just like have conversations amongst themselves and it's not a big deal. So it's just like, yeah, like let people believe and think and do however they want to do. And I didn't notice that back then, but it was nice because it wasn't made such a huge big deal. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, so that's another thing that I noticed now that I didn't notice back then. And the third thing was something I mentioned earlier. It was which was that I thought I remembered Gabrielle Union on screen for longer than when she actually was, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like that's just how much impact she had in the movie.
Very much so. I like all three of those. I'm not. I definitely like the brands one. I wasn't expecting that at all. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good stuff there. Kind of caught me off guard with that one. So that's good stuff. I wasn't expecting that at all. For me, a different lens is because, like I said, this movie came out when I was 8 years old, and I don't know what I was thinking about then, but I certainly wasn't thinking about this, and that is the stealing of labor from black people. I mean, come on,
Yes.
like music, art, labor, all of those
Hmm.
things, like that is the history of this country that we live in. And I wasn't even really getting into that far back, which we could talk about, the slavery and obviously the 400 years of free labor. But I'm talking about like the music coming up, right? We will see. I'm sure we're gonna do Five Heartbeats eventually, right? You will see these artists make these great songs,
Creativity.
creativity, and maybe they'll get on a radio on urban, but this other white couple, I mean white group or whatever, sings it and puts a record out, and it's a much bigger record. It's a national record,
With
but
no
these are
season.
with no season. But these are the people that wrote this and produced this are black people. So that's happened a ton, and I felt I felt like the writers at least have that in the back of their mind, right? Like that's a kind of a part of this movie. Like is we're rooting for the Clovers because they've done so much creativity
Roof
and giving
everybody black.
people, yeah, and giving people the game plan and giving people what to do. That you feel like, hey, this has happened a lot over the history of time, and I thought that just looking back on it now, that's my different lens. The fact that hey, people have been doing this for a very long time. This didn't just start in 2000 with some cheer movie. Like people
And
have been
also
stealing.
not taking handouts. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, you could feel bad about what you did, but that doesn't mean I'm about to like rely on you to get me to, my next step.
right. Not at all. Not at all. So, and then I got I'm sorry. The takeaway. What would you take away? Like one souvenir that you would take away from this movie, an award for us. I think I know what it's going to be. What would you take away? Souvenir.
Souvenir, everybody wants that cheer uniform. Like,
Yeah.
what? That
Yeah.
cheer uniform has stood the test of time. Somebody is wearing a Clover uniform every Halloween, like for the past 20 years. I guarantee you. Like, who doesn't want to be a Clover?
Yes, no, I definitely understand. That's why I thought you were going because I've seen so many people be that for Halloween over the
Hmm.
years, and it's never a bad costume. Like, do your thing,
No.
girlie, do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing.
Mine is similar. I would definitely want a something Clover, maybe like a jersey, a basketball jersey, football jersey. I'm sure Fabulous already has one.
You wouldn't want the cheer jersey? They
Why
have
would I
male
want the chair?
cheerleaders.
I'm a man. Why would I want the chair jersey? Like,
Because
I'll take a
they have
shirt.
male cheerleaders.
Oh, nah, 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 nah. Maybe I'll take this shirt. I'd rather have like a
That's what I'm
football
saying.
jersey.
The top is kind of cool. It looks like a jersey.
I think I would rather have a Clover's basketball jersey. I feel like but that wasn't actually seen in the movie, so I'll give you that. But no, I think I would rather have a Clover's basketball jersey, like wear that out, East Compton. You already know what it is. So nah, we're Clover down. We're East Compton, baby.
East Compton Clover. Shout out to us.
All right, last award that I have that I was almost forgot about, but most pivotal scene. What do you think was the most pivotal scene in this movie? Bring it on 2000.
When they came to the football game and was doing their cheers to them in front of the crowd to let everybody know they stole this shit from us. This our shit. Most pivotal scene for sure because to be that forced them out of their comfortability of having stolen something, and they even after that they got it wrong. They went with the choreographer and he gave them something that was also like not original, so they had to go through a few steps to finally get to like, okay, we need to do this ourselves. And it's just like, why take all that work for y'all to just do what y'all should have been doing from the jump?
Yeah, I was almost there. I think that was going to be my most pivotal scene. But I think it's the montage towards the end where they are actually working on a routine for themselves instead of relying on the past. And as much as I'm not rooting for the Toros here, I just thought that was like a good point to like, if you are a teenager or you're young and you got to like, hey, sometimes you got to figure out how to do things on your own and take the own steps and show that leadership that Torrance showed. So I thought that was the most pivotal scene as we led up to the national championship. So shout out to the Toros. They did pretty well. They got second place, but it just it's second place, so it is what it is. But East Clover,
If you're not first, you're last,
yeah,
though.
no doubt. East Compton.
Another pivotal movie quote, but we won't get into it.
East Compton Clovers got the win, but a very good movie. What is your final takeaway from this movie? Bring it on.
I liked it. I thought it was a very unifying movie. I thought it was a very universal movie. We need to make more movies like this, ones that could get everybody out to the movie theater.
Yeah, I think my final takeaway is something that we briefly touched on. I think this has to go in the Mount Rushmore of high school movies because it does bring all the demographics out. It's something that a young black boy like me can watch at 7, 8 years old, but also a 21-year old, who cheered in high school or maybe cheering in college or maybe anything like that. Like anybody that's ever cheered or ever been at a game, anything like that. So. I thought it could have been a little more urban, but I think it is on a Mount Rushmore of high school movies. So that is it. We
Bring it
another one in the
on.
books. Bringing on 2000 comedy, coming of age comedy. Appreciate you all for listening and tuning in. It's the Can We Rewatch podcast. Tealy, Media Marcus. We'll be back again soon. But this one was celebrating the 26th year anniversary of Bring It On. So I hope you guys enjoy.